Hello, hello! Boy, I hope this stuff works. I really, really do, because we're trying out some new software tonight. It's really exciting. Hopefully it works. Hopefully, yeah. Anyway, the one screen says that it's working. That one says it's working.
Oh.
This one says it's working. That's right there.
Yay.
Let's, wow. I hope it's all working. Okay. As we get started, welcome to the Stafford Voice. I am your host, Daniel Stafford, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host,
Roxanne.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I needed to say anything now or
as
what.
far as I know, that's your name. But apparently I clicked I can't hit enter. I gotta change that. Wow. So yeah, I think you guys missed a portion of the start of the show because I can't hit enter. We're here, Jessica. Sorry. Wow. Okay. Let me see if I can figure out how to change that, because I need to use the enter key. So as I'm trying to figure out how to do that, yeah. So yeah, we've got the socials stuff up there. Let's see if I can figure out how to change some hotkeys here real quick. Or not. Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can change it to that right there. Because I don't think I use that key for anything else other while I'm trying to type. So, sorry about that. Some technical difficulties as we're trying to work through the new software. So, if you guys haven't noticed, we've got some new graphics on the screen. Let us know in the comments if you like it. I do. What do you think?
I like it.
Are you okay?
Yeah. We just ate right before we got on.
We did. What the hell? What's up with that? Who orders a pizza and it takes an hour to get it?
Apparently it does.
We ordered pizza an hour and a half ago, and
It was about
usually it only takes 30 minutes for pizza to get delivered, but for some stupid reason, it took an hour. So, literally like 15 minutes ago, we got done eating.
Yeah.
I'm still I'm thirsty. So, anyway, we got to get back on topic. I hate when pizza takes forever. So do we.
We kept looking out the window thinking it was going to make it get here faster.
Yeah, I felt like a dog or a cat at the end of the day waiting for its owners to...
Because they're going to feed you.
Exactly. Wait for the pizza guy to show up. What's up with that? Okay, so on your screen... By the way, if you're listening to a replay of the podcast, we really appreciate it. Tonight, we're going to continue with some of the common myths about setting boundaries. We're going to call this part 2. So, yeah. You really do need to watch. You'll be able to catch a replay of the broadcast on YouTube. YouTube/C/The Stafford Voice, I think will get you there. While you're over on the interwebs, you can check out our Twitter at Stafford Voice. You can check us out on Facebook. All you gotta do is just search for The Stafford Voice. Or if you're on the Instagrams, I'm always on the Instagrams. I know you don't have one.
No, I just have Facebook.
You just have the Facebooks. So, yes. on the Instagrams, you can check us out over at The Stafford Voice. Again, I'm your host, Daniel Stafford. This
and
is
Roxanne.
That's right, my beautiful co-host, Roxanne. Together we are a team.
Yes. That's what you're supposed to be when you're married, is a team.
Yes, 100 me, 100 you.
That's right.
You can't just give up. Okay, so you guys need to let us know what you think of the new show graphics that we've worked on. I really like them. So let's get rid of that. So it's just the two of us. Anyway.
I'm not going to sing. I don't want to sing.
No. So, why don't you pick us up where we left off? Where did we leave off? Last time we talked about, what, myths 1 through 4?
Yes. So we're on number 5 now.
What is number 5?
Number 5 is boundaries mean that I am angry.
What?
I didn't quite understand this one either, but I think as I read what they were talking about, it made sense. And I guess sometimes I do get kind of angry.
Okay. I think we have a note here on page 114. Oh yeah. You want to read that?
What, this right here?
Yeah.
Okay, what I have. Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah, read that, and then I think that'll kind of get us where we need to be.
Okay, so what I have here is, here are some of the things our negative emotions tell us. Fear tells us to move away from danger, to be careful. Sadness tells us that we've lost something, a relationship, an opportunity, or an idea. Anger is also a signal. Like fear, anger signals danger. However, rather than urging us to withdraw, anger is a sign that we need to move forward to confront the threat. Jesus' rage at the defilement of the temple is an example of how this feeling functions.
Okay. I kind of get it now.
I guess my anger as we've gone through this, is thinking back to your childhood and how I've become who I am, I guess, and that makes me angry because
you almost, I think I understand, but you almost feel like you're trying to blame it almost on something like that, and it really gets you angry.
Yeah.
You get really frustrated because you don't want to be that way.
If so-and-so didn't do this or didn't act this way, then I wouldn't have been the way that I am, but
we're a product of that.
Yeah. And I guess that's maybe what gets me frustrated, is they didn't know enough to know better. But I'm sure...
I wouldn't say didn't know enough. I just didn't know any better.
Okay, that's a better choice of words.
They were a product of what they had, and then, they did the best that they could, given any circumstances. So I totally get it. Look at that, we got more people in the chats. We got Aunt Liz is watching.
And I was going to say Bamps, but that's how I used to always call him.
That's just what we call him. My dad, we refer to my dad as Bamps because our son, Daniel, he had problems, I get.
No, he didn't have problems.
He didn't really have problems, but it's one of those things that stuck. As a super young toddler and you're learning how to speak, it just kind of came out as Bampaw.
Instead of Grandpa, and
it stuck.
So that's what we call him. And so now, even though he's my father-in-law, I still call him Bamps.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Anyway.
It just fits.
It does. He's Bamps. I think I refer to him as Bamps a lot.
I think you do sometimes too.
I don't even... He's my dad, but he's still Bamps.
I think you still call him Dad, but every now and then it will slip out. Just kind of like when I'm with your family, and they call you...
And they call me DJ, just because it's my initials.
And I don't call you DJ when it's just me and you, and when we're with the kids, but when I get around your aunt and your grandma, they start calling you DJ, and then I start doing it. So,
by the way, I had a great time earlier.
Yes, we did. I
really
enjoyed that.
We got a text message from my aunt, and one of my cousins was up and in town, who happens to be watching right now.
See, and DJ.
She does. It's fine. It doesn't bother me.
It's just the way it is.
And everybody on both sides of the family always calls me DJ, and they will forever know me as DJ, and that's fine. It doesn't bother me. I embrace it.
That's okay. I still love you.
and I love you too. So, yeah, we got a text message from my aunt telling us that my cousin, her daughter, and grandma were all going to get together, and they were going to go over to a coffee house, and wanted to know if we wanted to go. So yeah, let's go hang out. So we did, and we had a blast. I got to
other than the heat, but otherwise I had
it was kind of hot outside.
Yeah, it did get
sitting
hot.
outside, and anyway.
But now I'm in cool air conditioning. I'm all good.
I'm glad my drink was cold.
Mine was cold too.
Yours was cold too. I don't understand the whole concept. Somebody needs to define the boundary. There's got to be a boundary of having a cold drink outside on a hot day versus a hot drink on a hot day outside.
Well, Grandma had hot coffee, so
I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Then I came home and finished laundry.
And then we were working on these show graphics, so I'm glad they worked, and we got the old software that we were using to broadcast. It's up and running. They've had a huge amount of updates, and so I really, really like what they've done. They've got this, do you see they got this little multi-window thing here, so I can just double click. It makes the production side of things so much easier. So
myth number 5.
Yes, we're on myth number 5, and we're talking about, I'm trying to get back to the page.
We're talking about boundaries making you angry.
But it's okay. Because, and I really like here where they talk about negative emotions. And you read this earlier, but we always equate anger as a negative emotion. And I think for the most part, it really tends to feel that way.
Well, I think you're taught that growing up. If you're angry, that means you're doing something bad, or you've done something bad, and you shouldn't have that anger. I mean, that's how I remember it, kind of like crying. I mean, I grew up my whole entire life. If you wanted to cry, it was like, no, don't cry.
Right, you had to put on the straight face, and it's almost like you were taught to grow up, and in large part, a lot of kids these days are taught that. Suck it up. Don't show any emotion. You can't be happy. You can't be sad. You can't feel that. Just let's move on with life.
I think the main thing that I had to deal with was just the crying. I feel like I wasn't allowed to cry.
So our cousin popped in and said that it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun today.
Sorry, that's the hard part about doing all of the production is you get sidetracked, because when something goes ding or whatever, you instantly get drawn to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think what I try and do is I tell people it's okay to cry.
And it is.
You do feel better sometimes. And then I think I read somewhere, you cry, then you put your big girl panties on, and you move on. You solve the problem. You don't just sit there and dwell in it and keep... So.
Well, because dwelling on it only makes things worse.
You're not resolving anything.
You're not resolving anything, and it only compounds the problem. It amplifies it in your head, and then you get so focused on, oh, I'm so upset, I'm so angry, and then it goes from there that anger at something so small and insignificant turns into animosity towards maybe an individual. And then, years go by and you realize we've wasted a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily your fault, it's more my fault.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everybody's at fault in any type of situation, but most of the time I find that it's me as the culprit. Yeah. Whenever I have a problem with somebody, it's because of my lack of understanding.
Well, and hopefully the person will be understanding as you explain that too. and then you can.
A lot of it, I will say, recently I've gotten a lot better at just saying screw it and just unloading my emotions, just letting it come out. I say what I feel. And most of the time I think they take it better than if you would just wait for whatever amount of time, and it just causes such a rift. And the more honest that you are with people and your dealings, it makes things so much easier. Because they tend to respect you more.
I feel like I read that somewhere, but I don't know if it was in here or the other book that I was finishing.
Probably the other book you were reading.
No. I don't know. It must have been in the next chapter after this one. I think it was in our boundaries book. Basically being don't react, respond.
Oh, yeah. That was in the next chapter that we have yet to even talk about.
Yes.
Which that one's going to be fun. Okay, so number 6. I understand how you feel, so I don't set any boundaries. Is that...
No. Myth number 6 is when others set boundaries, it injures me.
I must have kind of...
Just wrote down whatever?
No, I had to have... No, because, here at the end of the section, it's talking about the golden rule.
Yeah, but number 6 says when others set boundaries, it injures me.
When others set boundaries, it injures me. So, that is exactly what I said. I understand how you feel.
But are people going to understand that you know how you feel?
No, this is about setting the boundary. Other people set boundaries, so and that hurts me, because if that's what it says right there. But what I'm trying to get out of my head is, and I apologize, I'm thinking out loud here. Accepting other people's boundaries is hard.
Yes. Well, they said right
here. I get how difficult it can be to set a boundary, and I know what you're going through when it comes to setting a boundary. So I'm just not going to set the boundary. Or I'm not going to even accept it. I'm not going to accept your boundary because I know how hard it is, and I know how hard it was for you to set it.
But you can't do that.
You can't. you have to accept it.
Yeah, you want them to accept yours, so you have to accept theirs.
Yes, because that's the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. You know, if you want somebody else to respect your boundary, you have to be willing to accept their boundaries that they place on you. What do our comments say? What's insignificant to you isn't insignificant for the other person. 100% agree.
Mm-hmm. I agree too.
I 100% agree with that. As a matter of fact,
love.
I'm going to say I love that one. That right there is right on par.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard. I mean, at the beginning of that, it said having to accept the boundaries of others is certainly not pleasant.
And no, it's not. Because, and to be honest, I think going along with what they're talking about here in the chat is, something may be huge to that person, and that's why they've set this boundary. Whether I think it's small or large has nothing to do with it. I have to accept the boundary no matter what. And because it has to go both ways.
Yeah. Well, that's the key, though. It has to go both ways.
It does. It is a responsibility. It's a responsibility to accept their boundary. You can't just brush it off to the side and say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It's my grandmother." I'm just gonna not worry about the boundary.
Yeah.
You still have to. If she says, no, I don't want to talk about that, okay, fine.
You can't talk about it.
I feel it's an important thing to talk about. She may not feel that way.
But at some point, are you going to have to talk about it?
It doesn't matter. It has to fall on their shoulders because they built the boundary.
That's true.
Whoever builds the boundary is the one that's responsible for taking it down. Or at least, opening that gate that we talked about a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Opening that gate and allowing them to come in. Do you got anything else to add on that one?
Mm-mm.
We covered that one?
Pretty much, because I agree with you. I mean, you have to, if you want people to accept your boundary, you have to accept theirs.
Okay. So, number 7. What's the next one?
Boundaries cause feelings of guilt.
Yes. What do you mean? I'm going to let you take this one.
I don't know. You're the one who wrote notes down.
Okay, so here, the note that I wrote down is, I'll give you something, but I need something in return.
Okay, that kind of refreshes my thoughts. So this was...
This is one that I think many other people around you personally do.
I would agree with you 100%. And they make me feel very guilty. They do something kind, nice, or just do a good deed, but instead of just doing it to be kind, they want something in return later.
Yeah.
And that's not the way it should be.
No.
So, but I have a lot of people around me that do that, and I will always feel really guilty. I mean, they do something, and so it's like, well, they'll be like, well, because I did this for you, can you do this for me? And it's kind of like, but I didn't know there was something attached to you doing something.
Yeah.
Other than saying thankful.
It's a two-way, not a one-way.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you need to tell that person you're grateful for what they did to help you out, whatever it is. But I feel like there shouldn't be something attached to it later.
Yeah. And even if it's, and I think a lot of the times, it's not necessarily something tangible. We're talking whether it's a physical, an emotional, or even a spiritual thing here that falls in line with a lot of these. And, number 7, this one, feelings of guilt and obligation, I think is very rampant because everybody wants something. 99% of the people out there are only worried about one thing.
What can you do for me?
Yes. That it is such a selfish world. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to be selfish because you have to take care of yourself before you can even take care of anybody else. But the problem is most of these people aren't willing to help themselves. They want somebody else to come in and do it all for them.
Yeah. Well,
and that's where the emotional guilt or that pressure of obligation. Oh, you remember 6 years ago when I did such and such for you? Yeah, I'm going to need you to repay back. I'm going to need you to pay that back.
Yeah, well, it said right here, it says the idea is that because we have received something, we owe something. The problem is the non-existent debt. And then it talks about what the word gift really is. The word gift implies no strings attached. All we really need is gratitude. The giver has no expectations that the present will provide a return. It simply provided because someone loved someone and wanted to do something for him or her. So, and I feel like a lot of the people that think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They say, okay, well, here's this gift for you, but I'm going to need something back in return.
Yeah, there's strings attached.
There's strings attached all the time, and they know that I'm the type of person that just play the pity card, well, this is going on, or this is going on, then I will feel guilty.
They know that you're going to feel guilty for it, and they know that they're going to be able to pull that string.
Yeah. So I'm still struggling with the not feeling guilty. I mean, last week I made that decision to send an email to say I can't serve at this time. All week long I felt horrible. Because
you can't do that to yourself, though.
I know.
Because you have to remember that it's healthy to say no sometimes.
I know.
You can't give 100% of the time. You have to be able to give to yourself before you can give to somebody else. That's that whole idea behind self-reliance. That is the whole definition of self-reliance. I am 100% okay with where I am. I need nothing more for myself. Now I can give to you.
And I don't think I'm there yet.
You have to be there emotionally and physically and spiritually.
Yeah, and I'm not there yet. So, but yeah, it was back and forth all week. It's like, okay, because I had a few friends that I told the story to, and they were like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you for actually doing that." Because if anyone really knows me, it's not easy for me to be like, "Sure, no, I'm not going to do that." You'd be like, "Sure, yes, I'll put one more thing on my plate, even though it's about ready to tip over and fall."
But see, that's the problem with society is, you almost want to fault society for it, because it's the whole idea of keeping up with the Joneses, right? Keeping up with the Joneses. Your neighbor gets a new car, and it makes you think to yourself, "Man, I gotta go out and get a new car." Hey, the neighbors down the street, they put up a new fence. We've got to put up a new fence. We got to keep up with them.
Or even for just materialistic things too. So and so got this really pretty purse, and it's like $800 for it. So I need to go get myself one too.
Or you can even put that pressure on your kids.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny, Susie's son, Johnny's in soccer, and I hear that he's doing really good. So we have to put our kids in soccer. We have to put them in ballet, and we're going to split the schedule. You're going to take one of them to swimming, and I'm going to take the other one to football.
Yeah.
You're killing yourself.
I know families like that. They have multiple kids, and they're on the weekends they never spend time together because every kid has an activity and they are in all different spots. Like, the parents never get to spend time together. They don't get to spend time as a whole entire family, and they're gone all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And then they go back to work and school on Monday, and it's like, when do you...
And the husband and wife hardly ever get to see each other.
So then when the kids move out, the husband and wife don't even know each other anymore.
Right.
And then that's when all your divorces happen.
It is. It's a nasty cycle, and it needs to end.
Yeah.
Something has to trigger it in people, and I don't know. Sometimes some people wake up from this little slumber party that they're in, and other times they just don't.
But that was totally off subject.
It was, but
don't know how we got there.
I don't know either.
So, do we have anything else to say about boundary number 7?
I don't know. I'm kind of lost in my
guilt. I didn't have anything highlighted in that section other than what I already read.
Okay, well then let's move on to our last one.
Okay.
Boundaries are permanent.
And I'm afraid of burning my bridges. Boundaries are not permanent.
No, they're not.
You can tear down that wall.
Yes, you can.
Just not a ranch.
Love that show. We need to catch it. We need to finish this. We need to finish. I think we
Before
only have
Joe does.
Yeah, we need to finish because I think we only have a few more episodes.
I don't know how many. It's just funny. I'll be sad when it's over.
I think we're on the last season.
Okay.
So, anyway, no, boundaries aren't permanent.
No, They can be
They can change.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but see, that's the thing. Living their life through their... That's correct. A lot of parents live their life through their kids, and it really is sad. A lot of... And we'll come back to number 8, because I think this is important.
And then Jessica said that she could never do that. Gavin will have to pick 1 or 2 things and not have 5 different activities. I think that's good, because I think that's good for you guys, and I think that's good for Gavin.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to overload and overstimulate them doing a whole bunch of activities.
But it has to be something that the kid
wants to do.
That they pick. You can't... And this goes back to the other comment, living their life through their kids. And how sad it is. Some fathers think that they have to put their son in football because it's the tough thing to do and it's going to make their kid strong.
Or even baseball.
Or baseball. Mm-hmm. They're going to put them in baseball. They're going to put them in football. Or they're going to put them in soccer. And they're going to like it because, I'm paying all this money and I'm the one driving them all over the place. Or mom is. Because dad's too busy watching football or soccer or whatever it is. They're so engaged in what they have going on.
Or you have the father who does take the kid to that sport and is probably a coach and is out there screaming at their kid too.
And not so focused on what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
They put all that pressure on their kids because, they want their kid to live up to something that they know they could never do.
Yeah. I think a good thing that, I don't know if I read it somewhere or if it was somebody, you could let your kid try the activity, and if they choose that they don't like it, at least let them finish out that season. Because you've already paid for it, and then just don't sign them up again.
But it, making them finish what they started is healthy.
Yeah.
It tells them that they need to follow through with what they said.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to play football. You said that if you signed up, you would play. You can't just play one game and say, no, I quit, it's too hard.
You reevaluate at the end of that season.
You do. You reevaluate, you go through, and this is kind of like an old military thing, the after-action review. And I think in large part, everybody needs to do an after-action review.
I need to do one every night.
But that's okay. You really should. Actually, Ben Franklin used to. Ben Franklin used to, at the end of the day, he used to ask himself 2 questions. At the start of the day, he would ask, "What good am I going to do?" And at the end of the day, he would write it down in his journal. What good did I do today? And he would plan out his entire day. So that's actually a healthy thing. And a lot of very successful people, again, you can define success however you want, but success for me is, am I happy? Yes. Then I'm fucking successful. Bring it. So at the end of the day, what good did I do? Was I able to accomplish what I set out to accomplish for today? Yes or no? Yes, no on this and no on that. Okay, well, my train's moving forward. I'm not going to go backwards. Yeah. Nobody gets to their destination by going the opposite direction.
No. You're going
That's
away
like
from it.
Going back to the future. Anyway.
Whole different topic. But anyway, great comments by both of you over there in the chat. Living through their kids and then, having them pick their own activities. Well, they don't need to have, one kid doesn't need to have 5 activities. They need time to unwind.
That kid or adult, that person is just going to burn themselves out.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that to kids.
No.
So I agree with both those comments.
I do. Those are great comments.
Good job, people.
Okay, so this is our last one, and we're talking about how boundaries are permanent.
And you're afraid of burning bridges.
If they're that bothered by the fact that you put up excuse me, again, we're blaming it on delivery.
Late delivery.
It wasn't DiGiorno.
It wasn't.
Hashtag not sponsored by DiGiorno. So it's totally forgot where I was.
You were saying if people are bothered by your boundaries that you set up?
Yeah, if they're that bothered. If somebody is that bothered by the fact that you put up a boundary that they're willing to burn a bridge, per se, then they weren't there, they weren't committed at the start.
And then maybe burning that bridge is okay then, huh?
Yeah, and it goes back to what we talked about last week from the movie. Well, you just paid $20 to get rid of that guy for the rest of your life. Man, if it only takes $20 to get somebody to go away for the rest of my life, I'm gonna start carrying 20s.
Gonna start handing them out.
I'm gonna start handing them out. Hey, by the way, I'm gonna be wanting that back soon.
So don't feel
Yeah,
guilty.
it's a two-way street right here, pal. Sorry, I was trying to, count. I was trying to keep up with the chats and everything that's going on.
Well, okay, under that, one of the paragraphs was, it's important to understand that your no is always subject to you, your own boundaries. They don't own you. If you set limits with someone and she responds maturely and lovingly, you can renegotiate the boundary. In addition, you can change the boundary if you are in a safer place. So if your relationship improves and things are going good, then you can be like, okay, you can come in a little bit more. You can walk my bridge from my moat, because that's what
freaking laser beams.
That's apparently what I'm going to have, is a moat with alligators and laser beams on their head.
And it's okay, but sometimes you have to be willing to bite someone's head off to let them know where the boundary starts.
And then that's where I feel guilty.
But this is where it comes into play that boundaries aren't permanent.
Yeah.
You bite someone's head off, they respond, and they're like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm glad you let me know. Now I know where that line is. I'm not going to cross it. Don't worry. I will not cross that line.
You know people that are like that? Because I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's a few people I can think of off the top of my head. But there's quite a few people on my list that would be like, I'd bite their head off, and then they'd probably bite my head off right back.
So?
And then I would feel bad.
That's when I play mental tricks. Sometimes when somebody does that, see, this is really bad. I'm making myself extremely vulnerable here.
You are.
Sometimes when I deal with somebody and they're pushing back against me, I just kind of go dead face with a slight bit of a smirk on my face, and that smirk in my head tells me, okay, well, I just punched you in the face with my looks. I punched you with a smile. It works. It makes me feel better. It's like, okay, whatever. You want to play your games? That's fine.
Let's see what else I got. Oh, that was it. That was a short section.
Yeah, but again, there's more to it than... And a lot of these things, again, like we've talked about in the past, a lot of these things go hand in hand with each other.
Yeah.
You set up a boundary, somebody wants to push back, and they're like, okay, well, I'll recognize your boundary, but I need you to do this for me. So, a lot of these things work hand in hand. That's another good comment. If they're bothered, just turn and walk away. It's that easy. That makes me think of the comment from Napoleon Dynamite, where he's, break my wrist and grab my wrist. No, my other wrist. And then he's like, break the wrist, walk away. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. The guy with the little patriotic...
You think I got Stella by wearing these beater puffer pants or something like that? I don't know. Anyway.
And sometimes that's what you have to do in order just to make the situation better. Is you just probably need to walk away, not really say anything.
You just accept the fact that they're a loser and they don't care about your feelings, and you move on.
Well, if they're pushing too much, then they're probably not going to want to stop and listen.
Or they're not secure with who they are.
Yeah.
Or where they stand with you.
And they need to make their own boundaries then, huh?
Yeah. Because they obviously have their own boundary issues.
It's tough being an adult.
Adulting is hard. Nobody ever tells you how hard adulting is. You just kind of get thrown in the mix and you're like, ah, crap.
Well, I think when you're young and then you become a teenager and you think, oh, I'm almost to the adult age, then you get so excited and you kind of rush into it, and then you realize, this sucks.
Yeah. You realize what boundaries really are when other people, when society and rules actually start telling you where your boundaries are.
Well, and that's why you have to teach your kids young how to do rules.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think a lot of parents do that.
A lot of them don't.
I work in retail, and I'm like, oh man, some of those kids, just listening to how kids will talk to their parents is ridiculous.
It is.
And I'm thinking, if I would have said half the stuff that those kids say to their
or
parents,
acted the way they do,
I would have gotten my slapped on the butt or something.
Oh, I don't know if I would have got slapped on the butt or something, but I would have got the look. The look was devastating enough.
Didn't your mom tell you it didn't matter how big you were?
Yeah. she would have put she would have put me in my place.
She was a little woman, but
she packed a punch.
I remember the day I came home with you to see if you could have dinner at my house. It was parent-teacher
Oh,
conferences.
that was a boundary. School was a boundary.
I don't think she knew I was coming right behind you, so you walk in through the garage up the stairs, and she laid into you. And I remember thinking, man, I am going to make all my C's and B's A's, because she scared the crap out of me.
Oh, we got a funny face from my dad who's watching.
Well, your dad always scared me from day one.
He just has that look about him. He has that look of being an asshole, but he's really not.
I remember it was like a dance or something after I first met you.
He's a big teddy bear.
Dance, and he was just standing there like this in the hallway while we were taking pictures, and he's like, and I remember thinking, man, I don't want to make him mad.
Just a big teddy bear.
Well, I know that now.
Yeah.
You know what buttons to push.
You don't even have to be there to push him. You could wind up in a dream.
Oh, that's right.
You could wind up in a dream and hurt his feelings. Oh, anyway, let's not get too personal with stuff.
I think Gavin will grow up to be a good kid.
Gavin's going to grow up to be a great kid. He's got good parents.
And he's got good grandparents.
On both sides.
That will help keep him in line. So, I couldn't decipher the look on his face yesterday at dinner. When you got in his face, I couldn't tell if he was ready to cry or just laugh at you.
I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew which one to do. But the fact that I was there and not. Sorry, I heard.
I did too.
I heard something, but I don't know.
Oh no, that was you.
Yeah, that was me.
I was like, look, someone else did.
That was the.
The blizzard.
Well, that was the, what do you call it? That was the sound of a,
Discord?
Of a Discord thing. I don't know. Maybe it was something else.
I heard it too, so you're not crazy.
Okay.
We can be crazy together.
You gotta be crazy to put up with me. Okay, so real quick, let's run down. So part 1, if you want to go back and listen to the previous podcast, I think I at some point labeled it part 1.
I think you
part 1 covered one was I'm being selfish.
If you set boundaries.
Common myth number 2, it's a sign of disobedience. 3 was I will be hurt by others if I set them. 4, I will hurt others. And then part 2, which is what we covered in this episode. 5, setting boundaries means that I'm angry. Number 6, I understand how you feel, so I just basically won't. You're going by what the book says. I'm trying to make it easy to where we all understand.
I understood the book.
Well, that's because you're smart. Number 7, okay. Feeling of setting boundaries. Others create a feeling of guilt and obligation. And number 8, that boundaries are permanent. So why should I even set them at all? But honestly, it's 100% healthy to set boundaries. Screw what anybody else thinks. You have to not give a shit.
You have to take care of yourself, and I think that's what's really hard. I mean, just even yesterday when we went to Shields and encouraged me to buy the shoes.
I did. I encouraged you to buy a pair of shoes that was a little out of your comfort zone.
Well, it was, but...
Even though your feet said, these are in my comfort zone.
And I don't want to have huge problems later, so I'm getting old.
You're not getting old. You're not even middle-aged.
It's close.
You're not close to middle-aged.
Anyways.
Remember, we're gonna die at 118.
Okay.
So then we can tell the world that we've been married for 100 years.
Yes.
So we're not there.
We got a long time.
Oh yeah, you got quite a ways to go to get to being middle-aged.
Okay, well if you put it that way, then that makes me feel better. I feel like I'm in my 20s now.
Look like you're in your 20s.
Sure. But no, just even the fact that...
It's the clay masks we did earlier this morning.
Whose husband does clay masks with them?
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing a clay mask.
I don't have a problem with it.
You should.
I don't have a problem with it, but I'm just sitting there thinking...
Guys should be willing to cross that boundary of manhood and say, okay, well, yeah, I want to spend some time with my wife doing the things my wife does.
But as we were sitting there at the bathroom sink and we're each putting our little masks on, I'm sitting here thinking, how many husbands sit at the bathroom sink with their wives and put a clay mask on too and do that?
Sweaty Yeti does.
I could see him doing that.
But it's only like this much of it's only like his forehead because it's like Sasquatch here.
Oh, because he's got his beard.
Yeah.
Okay. Just picture.
He just puts a couple of like battle lines across his forehead, and he's like, there.
But no, I'm just saying I don't know if there's very many people that have marriages like I feel like you and I have, where I feel like we are a team. We do things together. It's not this person is better than the other person, so therefore they have to make all the decisions and they're always in control. The other person's not. I think, and I'm just kind of speaking from what I see from the few relationships that we see, that makes it healthy. There's a difference between being a spouse and being a friend. I mean, I can be your friend, but I can be your husband. You can be my friend. So we're like best friend. We're besties. We're besties. My BFF.
Wow, I don't. Okay, we're not going there anymore. Boundary drawn.
I don't like your boundary.
Don't care. Don't care if you don't like my boundary.
I get what you're saying, but I just feel
it's healthy to have to do those things.
But I'm just saying, there are some people offhand that I can think of right now that are married and have relationships that they don't do stuff like that.
No. They should.
They don't want to spend time with their spouse. Like, so I know people that will keep working even though one spouse is already retired. The other one will keep working because they always say, oh, well, if I retire now, you're going to find me on the 9 o'clock news.
Or they sleep in different beds. Who does that?
I don't know. I need you in the bed next to me to feel comfortable.
Linda, listen. Okay? Linda, listen. Linda. Listen. Okay? This is not the Brady Bunch. Okay? This isn't I Love Lucy.
Oh, okay, I got you now. I was like, what are you talking about?
That stuff ended back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
I don't know. Some people say that sleeping in separate rooms make them... I don't know. I don't see that it would work.
I don't understand how that's healthy. You're putting distance between you and your spouse. And there really should... If you're that uncomfortable...
I don't know if it's that. I think it's Like some people complain that the other snores. Well, you snore. I just keep nudging you until you roll over.
You make noise when you snore or when you sleep.
I don't snore.
Okie dokie.
Princesses don't snore.
Yeah, your halo is being held up by devil horns.
Why does everybody say that?
Oh, that's because I've seen the bad side. I've seen the dark side. See? It's not even Halloween yet.
It's almost Halloween.
Almost Halloween.
It's pumpkin spice season.
No. Pumpkin spice toilet paper. That way your butthole still gets the pumpkin spice.
The whole entire package.
All right. Anyway. All right, guys. If you have been watching or you've enjoyed the show, please leave us a comment or make sure you like and subscribe to the show. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. If you're listening to a podcast and you would like to leave us a review, please feel free, let us know. Be genuine. It's the only thing that we ask from you. Be as genuine as you feel that we are. I mean,
This is us.
This is us. This is how we talk to each other.
When people are around, when people aren't around.
When the camera is not on.
Yeah, this is just who we are.
It's just who we are. I mean, it's sorry, but you should get a lot of pumpkin spice stuff and try it for a video. Ha-has.
I've already seen some pumpkin spice Cheerios. I can buy some stuff in the next couple of weeks and we can do an episode.
We'll talk about it. We may have to draw a boundary on some things.
You're drawing a lot of boundaries on me today.
For your safety as well as mine.
What's wrong with pumpkin spice? There are some
It is not necessarily everything nice.
I would agree. There are some things you kind of like, what was it I saw? I saw pumpkin spice Frosted Flakes.
No.
And I agree. I'm like, that just does not sound good.
No.
Frosted Flakes just need to be Frosted Flakes. So, yes, there are some things that you have to draw a boundary on. But I would draw it on you.
No. Anyway, okay. That's all the time we have for this episode, and quite frankly, we just want to get on with our evening and try and relax a little bit more. So, if you would like and you're not following us on social media, if you're not following us on social media, please feel free to do so. You can hop over to the Twitters at Stafford Voice, on Facebook, The Stafford Voice, or on the Instas, The Stafford Voice, all one word. If you would like to leave a longer comment than any of those, or you just want to send a private thank you or something we could talk about here on the show, or a question or a comment, you can email us, thestaffordvoice@gmail.com. We will get it. We'll talk about it. You may not like what we have to say about it, but we will share.
That's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of what we're doing here. Also, please feel free to jump over to the Discord and make yourself at home. Introduce yourself. Let us know more about you. We've got new stuff that is in the Discord. We got games and stuff we can play. I'm still working on putting up the rules and how to do that and what you have to do to play a game or whatever. I'm constantly trying to figure out how to work that so we can get the most bang for our buck. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Do you have anything you want to say?
Just kind of the same thing. Thanks for watching us and giving us love, and we hope that we've helped entertain you guys. Thank you.
You guys are awesome. We really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, I don't know what we'll talk about.
Well, we could maybe catch up, do chapters 7
Oh
and
boy,
8.
boundaries on families and friends, I think.
I think so. One is family, and then the next one is friends.
Yep, setting boundaries for families and friends. Wow, if that doesn't get your giblets moving, I don't know what will.
Makes
Anyway,
my stomach all in knots.
so be on the lookout for that one. So yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. So yeah, appreciate you guys. Love you. Bye.